this channel. Welcome, and I'm so glad that you're here. I hope that you do find something that you will find helpful to your channel as well as your recovery. Or if it's not for you, go ahead and share this with somebody who you feel like may help. And if you are coming back, well, welcome. Hey, it's good to have you back. It's so nice to see you. If you have not already, go ahead and press subscribe as well as turn on the notification bell so that you know as soon as I upload something, and share the video. Jump in the comments and let's talk. I enjoy that so much. So for today, I am answering the question, what does a narcissist do when they realize that they underestimated you? Now, this was really my experience with this the person that I believe was a psychopath, right? So the very first thing that I recognized or that happened is that he totally went into a narcissistic rage because they underestimate you. And then, the thing about them is that they think they know everything. They think they're so smart, and they actually have been thinking the whole time that you're together that they've outsmarted you and that they have the one up on you, and that they have total power and control. They miscalculate your strength, they miscalculate your tenacity as well as your willpower and fight. Because when it's time to check out, well, when it was time for me to check out, I didn't waste time. I left because the disrespect was so bad. I had to leave. And although it hurt me, and he knew that I loved him, he knew that I would like really do anything for him. But once I found out the truth about the games, the lying, the cheating, all of that, for me that was too much, and there was just no coming back from that. If I had stayed, it would have just been a matter of time before we went our separate ways. So why waste time? Because who has time to waste time? I left, and so immediately thereafter, he went into a narcissistic rage, and that's just unfiltered anger towards any and everybody who's in their path. They go into full meltdown mode, and because I had got no contact, he couldn't get to me. I wasn't hearing anything, but they go into a rage. They fly into a rage for those people who are around them, and in this instance, it was his forever supply. He went, he went back to her. And that's the thing with a narcissist, is that once they have that injury issue to them, they have to now compensate for how they're feeling, because you leave them feeling exposed, you leave them feeling vulnerable, as well as having to deal with the truth of who they are, and it's like a loss. And it's about pride, it's about their ego. And so what else do? They go get that ego stroked, and so they dive back into the narcissistic harem. Here's the thing with the narcissist, they don't really get rid of people. They don't discard people. It's very few instances where a narcissist will discard somebody forever. And usually that's when they know that you know who they are. They just don't want to deal with that kind of work to try to convince you that that's not who they are, as well as they don't want to deal with that kind of pain. So the easier thing for them to do is just to check out and not be bothered with you and invest that energy into somebody else. So what the narcissists do is, like with your exes, they don't throw anybody away. What they do is they shelf them. Can you just imagine all the exes just shelved, and they're in a rotation that is known only to the narcissist, based on whatever they feel is relevant, whether you've been shelved for a prolonged period of time, or X amount of time, or whether you're more obedient or you're less work, or they may be up to a challenge and so they'll call on you, or whether you provide whatever type of supply that they need at the moment. That's how they determine who they're going to pull off the shelf. But all they do that, and why they shelf people, is really for added attention and triangulation, to make themselves feel more important, more superior, as well as to make their current partners as well as ex-partners jealous. So it's really sick when you think about it. And if you know that you've dealt with a narcissist, and you're comfortable with having an open friendship or an open relationship with them, where you allow them to come back and kick it with them or whatever, stop that, because they are shelving you. Anytime that you don't hear from them, they're living with other people. I mean, like living their lives with somebody else. And you may be wondering, why haven't I heard from the narcissist? Why won't they call me back? You've been shelved. And you have to respect yourself more, especially if you're just seated in that position and you're okay with it. There's nothing like, I mean, it's one thing for some people to be okay with saying he can come back whenever he wants, or she can, we can kick it whenever she feels like it. Some things you can always put an end to it. If you really want somebody to kick it with, find somebody decent, somebody healthy, somebody who will respect you, but not somebody who is a whole crazy person. You deserve so much better than that. So they recycle their exes, and it's just crazy. Sometimes you do find that they'll allow some time to pass so that they can give you time to cool down, and when they think that it's okay, they'll come and hover you, and that hover is simply to test the waters. Now if they find that, oh, okay, she may still care about me, or I still have a way to get in, for some of them what they'll do is they'll totally ghost you. You won't hear back from them again, and that's simply because they want to maintain the upper hand. They want to leave you confused and wondering, hey, I thought we were going to quite possibly reconcile and move forward, but that's not what they want. They just wanted their ego stroked at one time, as well as to get that narcissistic injury in, or not narcissistic injury, sorry, but to actually hurt you, so that they walk away thinking that, oh, she's pining for me and I'm ignoring her, and all, in that sick behavior. So that's it. That is purely intentional, and it's a calculated move. So don't accept the hover. Sometimes they will hover you just to see if they can come back, and they'll continue the same cycle. The problem is, when you allow them to come back, you're going to find that the devaluation comes much sooner, and then than it did initially, and then here comes the discard, and you are back to square one. So I try to share a little bit about my story, as as I tell you this, or I share this information with you, just so I can bring some just shed light to my journey, and you can get to know me a little bit more. With mine, he actually hoovered me, like, I think 2 years ago now, the day before Valentine's, and I was like, because since I had a little more information as to what was going on. And here's the bonus thing, the benefits of studying narcissism and listening to these type of videos and reading and getting involved in communities, is the narcissists are pretty much standard. There's very few deviations to how they act in different circumstances. So once you know the basics and you know the core of who they are and how they act, you will be a step ahead. So I was like, yeah, I'm a step ahead of this. So I accepted, his call. I was curious. I also wanted to see whether, what I knew was true. So I accepted the call. He went on with all the lies, trying to make me jealous. And, the lies, they live in fantasy land. I mean, this man was lying. And it was embarrassing. It was pitiful. And I was like, for real, this is what I was crying about. This is who I was crying about. This is who I was thinking I was in love with and wanted to live the rest of my life with. I felt like a complete fool, like a complete idiot, that I fell for that. And, he went on and on about this wonderful life he was living without me. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. And, and after that call, I blocked him. And I was like, I never looked back after that moment. But, I guess after a few days, maybe a few weeks even, he tried to call me and saw that, he could not get me because I obviously had blocked him. He had a whole rage. He was full of fury, and I got to hear about it, through the flying monkeys. They came in like, girl, what did you do to him? He was calling you the devil. He was calling you the B word. What did you do? And they're flying monkeys. I just acted like I didn't know, and then I blocked them and carried on with my life. So, yeah, that's just a few things about what the narcissist can do when they find out, or when they realize that they underestimated you. They're not as smart as they think they are. They're really not, because if they were, they would recognize that they need help, and they would move forward and, use those smarts to kind of do something that is productive in their own lives. But they're really not that smart. So why don't you, that's all I really want to share. But if you don't mind, jump in the comments and let me know what your experience is, if you have encountered this. I really enjoy interacting with you, and I look forward to hearing from you. So like always, take care of yourself and take care of each other. Thank you for listening.